Good morning. I wonder if that morning was like this, soon after the resurrection at the Sea of Galilee. The fishermen having spent the whole night fishing and caught nothing. 7 of them. How often we see fishermen here, usually on Fridays and Saturdays, in the early morning, fishing. Here at the Sea of Galilee, we've captured them so many times. Both the ones just with their line fishing and then the boats with their nets. This is the Sea of Galilee, the real Sea of Galilee. And there the fishermen, Carrie and Bernadette and Avid from far away, Sarawak. And they didn't realize that that night of trouble or of absence of success, type of failure, discouragement, that this night of difficulty would become a morning of glory. How many of our nights of difficulty we will see in eternity as mornings of glory. Because in the nights of difficulty we need to sustain each other and help each other. Nights of grief, nights of pain, nights of primary caregivers, of medical assistance, and mornings of glory. Together, bearing each other's weight. Guys, I forgot. So we're back again. Sorry for whoever got cut off there. Welcome back. Sorry about that little shift there at the connection. And then there's another angle to look at all of this. The first thought that came to me actually in the very early morning today was, open wide your mouth and I will fill it. And when I think of that verse, when the verse gets my attention, and it does every so often when we're praying the Psalms, then what I remember the birds carrying in a worm for the little young, and all the young do is open their mouth, and the mother bird, or I'm not sure if daddy bird is involved, fills the mouth of the little chick with that breakfast. Open your mouth and I will fill it. It's a powerful image in nature, and it's in the Psalms. Psalm 81 verse 10. I checked it out this morning. Psalm 81 verse 10. Open your mouth and I will fill it. And here we have these guys fishing. And now they are faced with the question of somebody, a stranger walking along. Did you catch anything to eat? And they have to embarrassingly say, no, we didn't score any goals in this game. We lost the game. We spent the whole night and we didn't catch anything. Nothing was biting. Nothing came into the nets. It's always embarrassing to have to give a report of failure. Open your mouth and I will fill it. And then there's another little detail in the story that when they come in with their fish, Jesus already has the fire going, this stranger, and he's already cooking fish. Like, where'd he get that? The mystery, the revelation, the surprise, the discovery. So many surprises and discoveries. Open your eyes and I will fill them with delight. Check out the sunrise. See the smile of that child. See the landscape. Watch the storm. Open your ears and listen to the birds. Open your mind for the fullness of truth. And if there's a real desert, a frozen landscape where love should be pulsating, open your heart and I will fill it. Open your heart and I will fill it. A lot of heartache, a lot of heartburn, a lot of deception, a lot of resentment, a lot of revenge, a lot of unrequited love poured out into a child, poured into a spouse, poured into a failing parent's life, a neighbor, difficult neighbor, colleague at work, a relative, somebody in the traffic misbehaving, not paying attention, driving, somebody at the checkout line at the supermarket. Open your heart. That's a desert of love, and I will fill it. Now, if we go back to that line in its original form, it starts off saying, it's verse 10. I should read the whole psalm, really. But it says, I am the Lord your God who brought you up out of Egypt. Open wide your mouth, and I will fill it. I wonder if the disciples pondered that line eventually in the light of today's happening at the Sea of Galilee, when they pull in 153 fish, and then they're having breakfast. I'm really fascinated about the whole thought of the composition of this scene at the Sea of Galilee. And they've pulled in their boat and taken out the nets and counted the fish. And then at the end of the breakfast, the conversation that happens. Amazing conversation. Do you love me? Feed my lambs, feed my sheep. Three times. Oh, did you see the fish jumping? 3 times this question was asked, do you love me? And 3 times, feed my sheep. At a charcoal fire at the side of the Sea of Galilee. You see, it's all about love. God's love is the source. I took you out of slavery of Egypt, out of slavery of sins and passions that enslave you. Open your mouth and I will fill it. Don't go back to the slaveries. There's a new life. A new life for you. God is love. He's also dominion. But somehow the relationships are much more important than the control. And even about the losses that have happened, Jesus is aware that Peter denied him 3 times. But there's a stream of love pouring through. That is recuperating Peter, because it's more important for Jesus that the relationship is consolidated, rebuilt, not thrown away, not disposed of. We are not disposable for God. We are recuperable. We're redeemable to the incredible extent of his love, the way he went at it. Just amazing. We tend to want to point out the faults of the others, to force them to correction, to oblige them to apologize, and to open up a path of renewed love, of renewed relationship, of renewed mission. What a great way to see others. God is love, he's also dominion, but the primary primarily He is love. Every relationship, every bonding, every belonging, we belong to each other. To rebuild relationships in the family, in the neighborhood, between peoples, especially after major conflicts, verbal conflicts, physical conflicts. And you can see that in the life of parents. The child makes a mistake, especially small little children. Parents don't hold that against the child. They hug the child, they embrace the child. They want the child not to enter into fear, not to enter into suspicion, not to reduce their relationship with the parents. The parents want to rebuild it. Will invest anything. Will do everything they can. And we are reflections of God's love because we're made in His image. And that's how we human beings need to learn to behave. It's part of the redemption process, part of the salvation process. What does salvation mean? What does redemption mean? That we recover our lifestyle as God's image and likeness, and that we recover the others in their capacity to live as God's image and likeness. We don't bomb them out of existence. Jesus could have corrected Peter, and actually He did. But the correction was to put love in the center of all His relationships instead of a disoriented sense of dominion and leadership. Because He had a role of leadership, and He needed to learn in His own flesh what He would have to do as the leader of the disciples. How mistaken we are when we want to control the world and railroad everyone and steamroll all unevenness and iron away every crease. How we can live with some scatteredness and unevenness and some disarray. Life is not always picture perfect. But love will make us see each person more clearly and justly and truly and helpfully. God has no shortage of dominion, but He's very modest in His exercise of His authority. He doesn't shout. He doesn't bang His stick on the table. He is primarily love, and therefore relationships are His primary interest. Like we see with the prodigal son returning home and the woman at the well. And here with Peter's denials turned into triple declarations of love renewed. What a marvelous transformation of a broken heart. Great training for a future martyr of love leading the church. Human being is rebuilt, restored, redeemed, loved, sent on a mission. Open your heart and I will fill it. People, how much more we could continue, I leave that to you for your time with the Lord as you read through the other readings, celebrating this great moment of renewal, of grace, of joy. Have a blessed Sunday. A blessed week.